Well, that could go twofold because I have two that have diagnosis. So when my oldest was diagnosed, I felt devastated, hopeless. But with Xander, or my second one, I'm just hopeful. I just hope that he would be able to talk and communicate. Okay, well, it started out with getting the diagnosis. And then once we had the diagnosis, I contacted the county who put me in contact, or actually, I think you guys contacted me. Yeah, so you guys contacted me. It was almost immediate, just a day or so in between. It's very fast. I'm really happy with the response time, I guess, the turnaround. We were able to get in very quickly and get services started like almost immediately. And I think that early intervention and getting things started quickly has really made a difference.
I would say it was a really good experience. Once we kind of figured out where our son was, we got started, and they came into our home and helped us with a lot of techniques and different strategies we could use with our everyday life to just easily incorporate things to help him progress with his speech development.
It was mostly me that decided what we're going to work on based on things he was struggling with on a regular basis. But once he got that communication, we were able to let him direct on what he wanted to work on and what he wanted to play with.
Every time they came, it was offered a lot to what do we want to work on? Is there something, that we were kind of struggling with the past week? But ultimately, we kind of left it up to our son a lot to guide because he wasn't always very structured. So if there wasn't something he was interested in, we used that, and it was kind of a benefit to us because if he was interested in it, then I knew he was going to continue to play with it as the week went on. So it was very much kind of our decision as to what we were working on each week.
The visits were very flexible to what we had available and kind of what we had going on in our schedule.
Scheduling was really flexible. We both got out our calendars and kind of looked at what would work. They went to our daycare provider also, which was nice because then she got to have some tips about kind of how she could help him and how the other kids could play with him better.
A lot of the stuff we had in our own home that was beneficial because it was stuff he was more comfortable with, stuff he was more familiar with, and kind of already had an idea on, what to do with that. So it was easier.
So I can use it and teach him and do what he was doing and learning when you guys were here can be implemented into our daily routine and lives. Something that we did was go to the local library where they have all kinds of things to do there, and learning to interact with my child at the library or in public places was very helpful because sometimes it's really hard to know how he's going to react, or it's nice just to have the help when you first start doing something, and then you realize, oh, this isn't so hard, I can do this by myself.
Yep, well, there was a couple times when the weather was nice that we went to the couple different playgrounds, and that was fun because it was people we were working with were able to see him in a different environment. But then it was also good to see that for us with his speech delay that we could use language at the park more than just like basic things. So it was a fun to go to a different atmosphere.
I think it gave us a lot of tools to help our son. It's just stuff that we didn't know about, and and then having more kids, it gave us ideas too to help the younger kid come along too.
It gave us some really simple things that we could try and just implement in our daily life to help both of our kids. Both of our kids just kind of flourished after we learned all these tools, and even after our early intervention time ended, we've kept using those tools and seen a lot of great progress from both of them.
Oh gosh, before early intervention, my son had zero communication. He was trying really hard. He just didn't have that verbal. And also, he didn't know how to play with his toys. He didn't know that he wasn't supposed to throw them or whatever. So now we have that communication. He is speaking, playing with his toys appropriately, not throwing them around. asking permission for things now, communicating his wants and his needs. It's been a life changer. We had him help me put the groceries away. He was never very helpful before. He wanted to help, but he didn't know how, and I didn't know exactly how to teach him. So we did that where we were putting grocery items away, and that's something he does every time we get groceries now. He puts everything away, which is super helpful. And that has translated into let me help mommy put the laundry away. Let me help mommy put the toys away. Let me help mommy, period, which is huge.
There were a few things that we found that we were struggling with and we were able to work through. A big one was kind of our bedtime routine and getting him to sit down and look at books and then go to bed in a reasonable amount of time. And, we kind of worked through a step-by-step process to get there, and now he does go to bed pretty easily.
We were able to learn some skills too to help him with his transitions in his day to kind of better communicate with him so he understands what we're doing.
Me thinking, okay, it's an issue. He throws the toys. Like, I don't know how to get him to stop throwing the toys. Maybe he just doesn't know how to play with them. And so it was a process of teaching him how to play with his toys. And it was like, why would he know how to play with those things? But it's so common for me to think about, I look at a car and I know how to play with it. He looked at a car and he loves cars, but he didn't know what to do with it. So he was excited and he would throw it. And to me, that's not okay. But he was excited about it. So we taught him how to play with it. And now he knows how to play with cars. Sparked that knowledge in him that he knew that everything had a purpose. It wasn't just there just to be there. And so he started exploring things and trying to figure out what am I supposed to do with this?
Say a lot with just like playing at our house, and they would say like, oh, ask this, or they would even model it what they were going to do, and I'd be like, oh my gosh, why didn't I think to ask that question like that, or why didn't I think to keep the puzzle pieces and then make him ask for them? Just simple things that I never even thought to do.
As he got closer to 3, I really felt like the staff at Riverbend held my hand and walked me through the process of getting him into the preschool. There's several options, and they kind of, looking at his strengths and weaknesses, were able to lay things out in a way that was very easy to make decisions.
Kind of like when they first started, they reevaluated to see where he was at. And then we set up a meeting with the school to develop an IEP and kind of to get to meet some of those people that could possibly be working with him. They also, I remember one of the special ed teachers at the preschool came and did an observation of him too, so that they had a better idea of what kind of a kid he was and to better help them for the following school year.
I think we were both really nervous, but felt that between the meetings of all the different groups that they were prepared for him to come into school the next year. I think it was a good thing, a good program for him, and I really think it helped prepare him for the transition into preschool. It got him used to people he didn't know coming into the home and working with him.
I think it was a great thing for our family. I know it was hard for us to make that decision to go forward. We felt like we should have known what we were supposed to do, and it was hard to accept that we didn't and we needed help. But I'm really glad that we did, and we talk all the time that we couldn't imagine where our son would be if we wouldn't have started this. It was really great for him, and I'm really thankful and grateful that we did it and went through with the whole process. So.
Well, with having several children with special needs, I think the earlier that you get the services that they need, the better they do in life overall. One thing that is so great about Riverbend is that they teach you how to do what you need to do to interact with your children, and you don't have that helplessness or that hopelessness, like, what do I do? I'm pulling my hair out because he has this behavior, and there's always a solution.